Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in this video, I'm going to be talking about calories in versus calories out and why it's not the be all end all. And that might piss some people off, offend some people, whatever. This video is really to make you think. Now, while calories can be important, I think really the ones who are pronouncing that calorie is a calorie really need to get their egos in check because it's not doing the world a service. So let's just look at that and break this down in a couple of different ways to begin with. So firstly, let's look at the history of calories. The history of calories really started in 1890 when you had a chemist by the name of Wilbur Atwater who developed a caloric oven rather, which is basically like an oven inside an oven, and measured the food temperatures of food and essentially measured how much heat would be required to turn a food to ash. And from his findings, he found a number of different foods obviously contain different calories. You know, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories and yada, yada, yada. And that was all great and that's all fine. So it gave you a baseline of what calories are. And then, you know, people talk about the law of thermodynamics. But the problem with the, I suppose, preconception is that the caloric oven equals our digestive system or equals a human body. And this is where, you know, if you look at the intestines and the digestive tract of the human body, it's not a simple process of just heating food up to ash. We've got things like hydrochloric acid, for example. We've got our esophagus, and obviously, you know, digestion starts in the mouth. It starts even when we think about food. Our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you know, if we're not feeling right, we're stressed before we eat a food, that's going to affect the digestion. So the way we digest our food is going to be affected. The thing that really gets on my goat and really kind of grinds my gears, if you will, is when the same people, they will acknowledge that there are, you know, health conditions, but in the same breath they'll say, oh, your personal trainer doesn't know about this. You know, and what I'm directly relating to is essentially when we talk about foods like, say, for example, celiac. If you're a celiac, and I mean, I use celiac, you know, if you look at celiac, gluten sensitivity is one manifestation of a gluten sensitivity. There's, you know, in journals published, I know in the New England Journal of Medicine, it was published over 55 diseases are linked to a gluten sensitivity, celiac disease being one of them. But just use celiac disease as an example. If you're a celiac, you can't eat wheat. So a calorie is not a calorie. So a good scientific theory should include all of the exceptions. So there are obviously exceptions to the rule. If you've got Crohn's, you're not going to be able to eat wheat. It's an autoimmune-based driver. So there are foods that, you know, if you need to follow a FODMAPs diet, if you have a reaction to polysaccharides, then you're not going to be able to eat those foods. So the oversimplification that a calorie is a calorie is very, very damaging. And it is 2018. You know, we really got to stop this ego baiting and trying to oversimplify things. And yes, there are people out there who make things too complicated, but I think if we take a helicopter view to this and get out of the fitness world and trying to one up the other guy and all that kind of stuff and really be objective about this, we understand that people don't respond the same to foods. Yes, calories are important, but when people talk about it as this hierarchy that, you know, it starts with calories, that's wrong. I really think that we need to start looking at this as almost the Knights of the Round Table, that all things are equal and they should be seen as equal parts. So for example, calories are certainly important. Macronutrients are certainly important, micronutrients are certainly important, inflammation and immune foods are certainly important, hormones are important. So one of the analogies I like to give often when people talk about a calorie is a calorie is, you know, if we did nothing else, so we had a young male and you know, they're eating 2,000 calories a day and their muscle mass was, let's say, 60 kilos and their total body weight was, let's say, just, you know, 80 kilos. If we did nothing else but gave them steroids or gave them testosterone injections, you know, every week at above a therapeutic dose, what would happen even though we didn't change their calories? Well, we've changed the hormonal environment. I think most of you know watching this what would happen. He would start to put on more muscle mass, he would start to lose body fat, his insulin sensitivity would start to be better. So you can't just say calorie is a calorie because there are multiple, I mean, that's just one example, but there's multiple examples where we can influence hormones, which is going to influence the way we partition calories. So let's get rid of this oversimplification just to make our lives easier, or the ego baiting, or you want to create a cult within a cult and get people to follow you and support. It's not serving people. So get your head out of your ass. A calorie is not a calorie. You know, really let's come collectively together and look at the other things and other factors that do influence. And again, if we look at another study, what was done with artificial sweeteners, it was shown that people who consume artificial sweeteners versus the normal glucose, normal sugar, it was shown that there's no difference in weight loss. And that's because the artificial sweeteners, there's an emotional component to that where people tend to overeat because they've gotten the taste of sugar. So humans are not mathematical, 1 + 1, will equal whatever. If you're in business and you've ever managed people, you will know that for sure. But people are complex and it's multifaceted. And look, if you're getting results with a calories in, calories out versus approach, good on you. You found an approach that works for you. But I suppose the message really is to the coaches out there who thinks everyone, you can fit a round peg into a square hole, where everyone is a bit unique, and certainly that approach can work for some people. And I think the best advice you can really look at it is it actually depends on the state at which you're early. But yes, resist the temptation, and I think everyone watching this, doesn't matter what camp you're in, will do a lot better. And absolutely, calories do count, but a calorie is not a calorie. So my name's Mark Katobri from Enterprise Fitness and Wolfpack. Thanks for watching. Till I see you next time, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and I don't know what you do on Instagram, because I'm not really on Instagram, but I think follow on Instagram. But till next time, train hard, supplement smart, and eat well.